I never believed silence could be so loud until that night. The kind of silence that doesn't comfort, but exposes everything you've been pretending not to see. I was sitting on the edge of the hotel bed, staring at the city lights outside the window, wondering how I had ended up there. Alone, miles away from home, trying to convince myself that I deserved a break. It was supposed to be a simple business trip. A weekend conference in Boston, nothing special. My husband, Ryan, had encouraged me to go. He even helped me pack, kissed my forehead, and said, "You've been working too hard lately. Go clear your head." There was something about the way he said it that night, though a little too casual, too eager. But I brushed it off. After 12 years of marriage, I didn't think much of it. By the second evening, I started to miss him. I tried calling after dinner, but it went straight to voicemail. Then again, and again. Ryan never ignored my calls, especially at night. My stomach tightened, but I told myself maybe he'd fallen asleep watching TV, or his phone had died. Rational lies are easy to tell when you're trying to avoid the irrational truth. Around 11 p.m., I decided to head back to my room. I remember walking down the hallway, my heels echoing on the carpeted floor, thinking about how empty everything felt. The hotel was quiet, too quiet. I slid my key card, stepped inside, and froze. Something felt off. The curtains had been slightly moved. My suitcase, which I'd left zipped, was half open. My phone was still charging on the nightstand, but its screen showed a new message, one I didn't send. It read, "Room 709, doors open." My hands trembled. I stared at the message for a full minute, trying to make sense of it. Had someone hacked my phone? Or worse, was someone in my room? I checked the bathroom, the closet, even under the bed. Empty. But the air didn't feel empty. It felt watched. I grabbed my jacket and decided to go to the lobby, maybe even ask for a room change. As I stepped out, I caught something in my peripheral vision. A shadow at the end of the hall. A man standing perfectly still, facing the elevators. He was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a gray hoodie pulled low. For a second, I thought maybe it was another guest. But then he turned his head slightly, and I saw his jawline. It was Ryan. I froze. Every sound disappeared, the air conditioner, the hum of the lights, everything. My husband, who was supposed to be home, hundreds of miles away, was standing outside my hotel room. I didn't move. My mind scrambled for an explanation. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was someone who just looked like him. But then he lifted his head, and I saw those same familiar eyes, the ones I'd woken up to for over a decade. He looked furious. Not surprised, not confused, furious. I stepped back instinctively, clutching my phone like a weapon. "Ryan," I whispered, but my voice cracked halfway through his name. He didn't answer. He just walked toward me, slow and deliberate. Each step echoed in that long hallway like a countdown. "What are you doing here?" I managed to say, trying to sound calm. He stopped a few feet away from me. "That's my question," he said quietly. "What are you doing here, Emily?" The way he said my name made my chest tighten. He'd never said it like that, measured, distant, as if he were talking to a stranger. I tried to speak, to explain, but before I could, he held up his phone. My heart sank. On the screen was a message, my message. The same one I'd seen on my phone earlier. "Room 709. Doors open." Except I hadn't sent it. A chill ran down my spine. I shook my head. "Ryan, I didn't." He interrupted, voice trembling with restrained anger. "Then who did, Emily? Who's supposed to walk through that open door?" For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Everything inside me wanted to scream that it wasn't what it looked like, that I didn't know what was happening. But my mind was too busy replaying the message, the moved curtains, the open suitcase. And that's when it hit me. Someone wanted him to find me here. Ryan's eyes searched my face like he was trying to catch a lie before I even spoke. His jaw clenched, and that small twitch beneath his temple, the one that only appeared when he was angry, was there. For years, I had been the peacemaker in our marriage, the one who talked him down, who fixed things before they broke. But that night, I felt powerless. "I don't know who sent that," I said quietly. "I swear, Ryan, I didn't message you. Please, Just come inside so we can talk. He didn't move. His hand tightened around his phone, his knuckles white. Talk about what? About how you're in a hotel room that you said was for work, and somehow I get a message inviting me in. Do you know what that looks like? The tears came faster than I wanted them to. I hated crying in front of him. You think I'd cheat on you? After everything? His eyes softened for a second, but then the anger returned, stronger, sharper. I don't know what to think anymore, Emily. You've been distant for months. Late nights, new clothes, locking your phone. You tell me it's work, but now this? It doesn't add up. He wasn't wrong. I had been distant, but it wasn't because I was unfaithful. It was because I was exhausted. Tired of being the one holding us together while he worked endless hours, missing dinners, forgetting anniversaries. I came on this trip to breathe, not to run away. I needed space, I said, not an escape. I booked this trip because I felt like we'd forgotten how to talk to each other. I thought maybe the distance would remind us what we were missing. Ryan let out a humorless laugh. Well, congratulations. You got distance. He turned as if to walk away, and panic shot through me. I grabbed his arm. Please just wait. Someone's trying to mess with us. Look. When I got back, my suitcase was open. My phone was on, and that message was already sent. I thought maybe the staff. Stop, he snapped, yanking his arm free. Do you even hear yourself? You're saying a stranger broke into your room, used your phone, and texted me that message? That's your story. I know it sounds crazy, but he took a deep breath, shaking his head like he was done. You've always been a good liar, Emily. I just never wanted to see it. The words hit harder than any slap. For a moment, I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then I said, barely above a whisper, if you really believed I'd do that to you, you wouldn't have come all the way here. You wanted to catch me, but you also wanted to be wrong. He looked at me then, really looked. For the first time that night, there was confusion in his eyes instead of rage. How did you know I was here? I asked. Who told you where I was staying? He hesitated. I got an anonymous message this morning. It said, your wife isn't alone in Boston tonight. It had the hotel address. Then, a few hours ago, I got the text from you. My pulse quickened. Show me. He handed me his phone. The first message wasn't from my number. It was from an unknown one. The second one, though, had my contact name and photo. Someone had spoofed it. Ryan, I whispered. Someone wanted you to see me like this. To think the worst. Before he could reply, a notification popped up on my phone. It was another text. Same number that had sent him the first message. This time it read, hope you enjoyed the show. Ryan's face drained of color. I felt my knees weaken. That was when I realized we'd both been played. We went to the hotel security together. They checked the hallway cameras, and what they showed made my stomach twist. About an hour before Ryan arrived, a man in a black baseball cap had used a keycard to enter my room, stayed for 5 minutes, and left. The footage was blurry, but one thing was clear. He knew exactly what he was doing. I looked at Ryan, my voice trembling. You see? I told you. He nodded slowly, eyes still fixed on the screen. But who would want to do this? I hesitated because deep down I already knew. My promotion last month hadn't sat well with everyone at the office. There was one person, Mark, a senior executive I'd rejected more than once, who'd made it clear he didn't like being told no. When I said his name out loud, Ryan's hands curled into fists. You think he? I don't think, I said. I know. Hotel security confirmed that the keycard used had been registered under Mark's name. He'd checked in earlier that day and checked out that same night, right before Ryan arrived. He'd broken into my room, sent the texts, and planted the seeds for my marriage to collapse. Ryan didn't say much on the way back to our room. We sat in silence, the kind that used to mean comfort but now only held exhaustion. Finally, he said, I'm sorry I didn't trust you. I looked at him, tears in my eyes. I'm sorry I gave you reasons to doubt. We didn't fix everything that night. Some cracks take more than apologies to heal. But as we sat there, holding hands under that cold hotel light, We both understood one thing. Sometimes betrayal doesn't come from the person you love. It comes from the one who wants to see that love destroyed. And maybe, just maybe, that night saved our marriage instead of ending it.